For those of you who have played the 2019 Resident Evil 2 remake, the latest one will feel very much the same. The game has been remade from the ground up, following in the footsteps of the second video game release, and for the most part, both games are almost identical. There's a massive mutated creature that chases you around all the time, you need to have great sense of item management, and you kill a lot of zombies. The Resident Evil 3 remake does very little to reinvent the wheel, but it works. Half of it is set before the events of the second release, and the other half takes place 2 days after. It goes a long way to expand the story of the T-virus outbreak in Raccoon City, and acts as a great conclusion to the events that follow. Before we start, keep in mind that this Resident Evil 3 review is based on the full campaign for the single player experience. The multiplayer game, Resident Evil Resistance, which is included in the package, we will be sharing a full, in-depth review of it soon. With that being said, if you had to write a story of the game on a piece of paper, it would fill less than half the page. Resident Evil 3 is short, much shorter than the second game, and you can clock it on the assisted mode in under 3 hours. We finished it and collected almost everything, died a few times, and left the game AFK quite often in under 7 hours, making this trip to Raccoon City a brief one. You can't really complain about this, as the original release suffered from the same issue. Luckily, the adventure through the game makes it worthwhile, as Resident Evil 3 has some fantastic action-packed moments that lean away from the survival horror and more into an action game. If it was not running through the streets of Raccoon City shooting the undead in the head, it was solving the various puzzles that lay in wait throughout the game's progression. Following in the original game's footsteps, Resident Evil 3 follows the story of Jill Valentine as she tries to escape Raccoon City, which has just suffered the deadly outbreak of the T-virus. The dead now walk the streets, and a deadly lab-made creature known as Nemesis hunts her down at every opportunity. What starts out as a simple escape plan turns into a mission to find a vaccine for this deadly virus. The game jumps between you taking control of both Jill and a rugged UBCS hired mercenary named Carlos Oliveira. However, the gameplay mostly remains the same for both playable characters. The franchise's iconic point-and-shoot action, intense item management, and great puzzle solving make every moment in Resident Evil 3 enjoyable, even if you're being gnawed at by the neck by an annoying zombie which you could not kill because you didn't have any damn ammunition. Luckily, the game adds a few movement options that were not seen in Resident Evil 2, such as the ability to quick dodge an incoming attack, be it from a zombie or in a boss fight. Jill can time her dodge perfectly to move out of the attack radius and render it useless. Carlos, on the other hand, can dodge and perform a quick powerful punch that will knock zombies off their feet. You can also now use your environment to attack, damage, and stun enemies. Oil drums, when shot, explode, and live electrical outlets send off a powerful stun to enemies around it. Using these objects come in handy, as there are many parts in the game where the undead hordes get out of control. You are also looking to save ammunition too as much as possible, as the game does not provide endless supplies of it at every turn. Gameplay variety in Resident Evil 3 falls short at times. Apart from the traditional zombies, I came into contact with 4 dogs, a handful of Hunter Gammas, and Hunter Gamma Alphas. There's also brain suckers that are found in one section of the game. The game is missing a lot of older content found in the original. No deadly crows, no sliding worms, no giant spiders or small spiders, and no gravediggers. No gravedigger also means there's no Raccoon City Park in the game at all. I don't know if I missed it somehow, but I completed the game twice during my review and the story just did not go there at all. This is quite a letdown, as the park was one of my favourite areas from the original. I was just dying to come face to face with a giant spider while exploring the dark park at night.
I thought you killed it.
While the game is missing some vital areas and enemies, a playthrough of Resident Evil 3 is still fun and enjoyable. Mixing ammo on the fly to make acid rounds to burn zombies alive, micromanaging the limited inventory space to carry just one more green herb, and the intense boss fights with Nemesis. It all feels as authentic as possible. Do I wish there was more to it? Definitely, as the game was over way too soon. Resident Evil 3 Remake manages to deliver a somewhat authentic remake of the classic game. While it lacks some of the iconic areas and enemies, it does keep you at the edge of your seat as you face some rather deadly threats. Once the game is over, you can purchase some items from the shop to enhance your next playthrough, like medals that grant health regen and overpowered weapons like a laser gun. Will I go back and do another playthrough? I doubt it. But that's all our thoughts on the good, yet somewhat short Resident Evil 3 Remake. What do you guys think? Have you been looking to pick it up? Let us know down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing. And until next time, farewell.